realm of realness.
I'm uppercutting, I'm choke holding this matrix like I'm Hulk Hogan. It's Flomocean, fuck Hollywood. We'll do the math, y'all probably should. It's a numbers game, we ain't cut the same. I'm a scientist you ain't vibing with. My vibration the highest, kid.
Highest on the vibe, highest on the vibe.
Look at that. I've casted spells on millions, he said. What kind of music you listening to? Mainstream music. I run away from. The name's Outcast. What are we casting? Oh, he just said it. Spells. Yeah, these ain't regular humans. Look at this. Look at the wordplay. Kid die, but also kid grinder. This is crazy this even exists, that mainstream marketed music. But of course, when the beast controls the music, this is what you get. So look, Coagula isn't just being like telepathic or being able to take over someone's mind. Like I'm saying, it has a way deeper meaning. And it's in dealing with implanting consciousness, specifically in a youthful, black, African body. Why? Probably melanin. These bloodlines interbreeding and creating light-skinned people in power, the Obama and stuff like that. I think in 20 to 50 years or so, the vampire bloodlines, they're gonna be light-skinned black, hijacking the people's DNA. Makes me think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I always refer to Baxter Stockman portraying Gates. And it's funny because somewhere in the series of Ninja Turtles, Baxter Stockman turns himself black because he's a geneticist, he's a mad scientist. Funny coincidence again. The dude that's controlling the computers and all the information, genetically modified mosquitoes.
Welcome to the garden, a strawberry. Using digital code from the matrix, retro-converted into DNS. Quote here.
It's not easy altering the genome to both synthesized by our small.
And I'm sure it's changing over time, especially when our DNA as a whole collective, all of us, it's being manipulated when it's been for a long time. Slowly, the African DNA and the genetics, for me, my studies, they're the original people here. When humans were first here, it was them. Their genetics tend to usually be stronger, jump higher, taller, just better genetics, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's not in every case, but as a collective though, think about it. So, and then it's funny because the black color alone, you know, kind of represents the source if you're talking in light, like dielectricity. And even though there's a white pope, there's a black pope counterpart. One, and if not, in my opinion, probably the most powerful family in the world. This name here hides under several names. Viking dynasty from Rome, the Orsini's Maximus clan, merging in with Austria, creating the Rosenberg. Perfect example of these bloodlines merging powers. And this is another, just one of many over here from way back in the 1500s. A Farnese married to an Orsini. And their children's names, Borgia. So that's 3 of the 5 hidden hand families right there. But at the same time, there obviously is beefs. Even your own family of brothers are gonna fight. Cousins, you know what I mean? So think about on the bigger scale. Of course, these families have beefs here and there. And there's another beef right here, actually, from the 1500s, where an Orsini cardinal was killed or ordered to be thrown in the dungeons. And the order came from, it says most likely, Caesar Borgia, which was, again, the image they gave us for Jesus. Interesting stuff. Schwarze is one of them. So Sorcerers is really Schwarze. And before that, it was Schwarzenberg. And you guessed it, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a Schwarzenberg. And then that word right there, Schwarze, means black. So they're playing a game with us. Arnold, his stage name, think about it. Knowing that Schwarze means black. So you can see how
the Nazis just teasing us.
Through symbolism, that's where I show in other videos that Aleister Crowley ties in to the Orsini bloodline. He's definitely Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, which they again tie right into the Orsinis. And through those symbols, they never lie. Aleister Crowley is so infamous for, and they worship in Hollywood, and that same star, all-star game, Aleister. Everything is centered around his teachings, and he wasn't this random dude. He obviously came from one of the top families, and Like I said, it just so happens that Orsini's coat of arms uses that same star. It's a rose, the Rosicrucians, but it's that pentagram. Elon as well, if you search his grandfather's bloodline, the name changes, and you look up that coat of arms, bam, coincidence. That same Rosicrucian star. So, for me, I say Elon as well, if he's actually a human and not AI already. He hails right from the Orsinis, the number one power. And they all seem to tie into those families. The Bergs, the Orsinis, Zuckerberg, the Pope, Bergoglio, Secretary General of NATO. We could sit here forever and name off a lot. Those are just a couple key ones. This seems off topic, but it's actually going to tie into the Coagula thing. Those bloodlines, families, they're immortal. Not in the sense of being in one body forever, though. The body dies for now, right? You know what I mean? But these folks are alchemists, mad scientists, geneticists. While we're sleeping, that's what they're doing.
Mad scientist shit.
Labs underground and using humans as experiments in some cases. A lot of people come up missing all the time. Where'd they go? The first guy to issue a V? What a coincidence. Look at his name. It was a Jenner. And he was a geneticist. Think there's a connection to Jenner and Hollywood? So the Kardashians, through my research, are controlled by one of those papal bloodlines, one of those hidden hand bloodlines, but really controlled by the Armenian mafia, which is controlled by one of those bloodline names, which is Palavinici. Those witches are direct connected right to the Vatican. Now you see why they're on TV. Those are witches on TV right there, brainwashing everyone, make themselves look
Gender and transhuman like them.
It's crazy looking at how many women in the world are do facial construction to make themselves look like them. People don't see the big picture on that, man. That's some crazy witchcraft shit going on with that. Not just because they're pretty and rich and you want to be like them. Again, those families are hand-picking, what probably they would consider the best, maybe brightest minds, but melanated DNA. Here's one. That makes more sense, right? But he moved on to a different path. He's a big energy harvester himself now. He has his own church. A lot of these churches, especially the old ancient cathedrals, are all set up with sacred geometry patterns. And the construction, the reason why is because it's harnessing energy. They know how to convert energy into clean energy. And thoughts are energy, and they understand that and know how to intercept it. Not talking football. This is where Coagula comes back into play. One of the best ways, if not the best way, to control our thoughts, to move cultures is music. Obviously, everyone knows that. Outside of that is TV. And they always tell us even that the devil was like the angel of music. They use artists to brainwash us, even as little kids. Even me, myself, brainwashed me. If they didn't get you as a very little kid, good for you, but they had me. $40 chains from Kmart with fake diamonds that 7 of them fell out before you got to the car. It's crazy, man. But we were being programmed without knowing it by dudes we were looking up to, idols, Don't worship idols. I'm telling you though, these subconscious spells that they do through frequencies is real. And I don't think soul transferring or conscious transferring into like a different body is new. Maybe it's new in this era of time, but I mean, it's like the same bloodlines just either found the technology again and uncovered it, and they're living out the script, preserving DNA to be resurrected. Assuming it's still doing it now with alchemy. It's called monatomic gold. Don't know exactly how it works when they break it down to a liquid form. Back in the day, and I'm sure now, they were saying Anunnaki was doing it and ingesting it. Monatomic gold though, ingesting it's supposed to repair your cells and basically keep you alive a lot longer, somewhat make you immortal. Because alchemy is one of the most important things to, if not the most important thing to creation, or whatever this is, right? But just like in the Bible, all those characters would live in a couple hundred years. I'm thinking monatomic gold. As far as transferring consciousness, though, they showed us that movie, or movies like Selfless, for a purpose, letting us know that they can capture your soul and transfer it, your aura, to another body. They also let us know in that movie, which they do in countless other movies, that anytime they do a conscious transfer into a body, they usually tell the patient they're, you know, AI clone bodies or whatnot, and they always end up finding out it was real life people they killed and preserved the bodies. I'm sure they could do it now in a fake body, a clone. I mean, most likely do it to humans, I'm sure. There's nothing these guys can't do. And they decided to use everything for the reverse of good. Evil geniuses. Going back to this topic, Coagula and dealing with alchemy, there's an ancient alchemist vampire that you could find the stories about. Count Saint Germain, he supposedly pops up, you know, every so often. And it's always the same guy, different body. And there's another one, Vlad the Impaler. You know, the bloodlines that the royal families are connected to. Bushes are connected to. Prince, you can see it in their nose. You can see it yourself. In my last video, I think Putin's middle name is the key to finding out where his bloodline really connects to. And so Vladimirovich is the middle name, and they tie into the Romanov. There's your Russian connection. They say he was a mortal alchemist, so maybe Vlad the Impaler is Vladimir Putin, or the other Vlad. They've been doing it for a long time. And so they're all among us, and they're ancient beings that have been here and been in control for a long time. Not just their families, them themselves. Maybe it's one of them from each family. Isn't that odd too? You know, the Rothschilds and all these families like that, they even call themselves lords and counts. Think that's coincidence? We're talking vampires. Real life. Not just the movies. But life is a movie, isn't it? Then if you reverse and play their law of reversal game with that word, Lord, you get the word droll, which then that makes more sense on what they are, because droll, here's the definition. Look at all these pictures with Marilyn Manson. It's almost like he's the handler for a lot of these new era hip hop. like the mumble rap culture and the like that new style of dressing, like wearing skirts, and then just all that stuff they're doing, and then looking demonically possessed, you know, like when they're performing. It's because they are. The Coagula goes way deeper. These bloodlines have been doing this for thousands of years, so the technology's not new, and they always tease us with it. That's why I'm showing pictures with the Inca from like Egyptian times, and then the Tesla symbol, the oscillator. They're teasing us. I used to think they hijacked it off from that culture. Maybe they did, but either way, the technology is not new. And they keep doing things like resets and rewriting things. Yeah, I'm just kind of joking with this, but wouldn't that be crazy if they were just trying to get back to black? The pharaohs are black, and it's been them through alchemy the whole time, somehow turned white, and they're trying to get back to black. Nah, that was definitely a joke, because they could definitely turn someone white or the opposite. I just had this thought that Eminem most likely reigns from one of these royal bloodlines, and he, of course, does tie into one of the kings. Also, ties into an occult master, alchemist, Samuel Mathers, that started the Order of the Golden Dawn. Coincidence. And one of those Italian banking houses is called Colonna. When they moved to America, it's Columbus and Collins. Well, let's just ask Glenn Beck if he knows anything about the black nobility or Colonnas. Apparently, it's a name that people trust. If you need a doctor, just type it in. You'll find a Colonna near you, or a Collins. Why is it when you have to go see a doc and you're going in debt to get these scans or whatever it is you have to do, and they somehow, a lot of times, a lot more than not, seem to miss if there's something major wrong, and it always seems to be a little too late when they catch it. Coincidence? Here's an idea. They also control the companies that make all the equipment, and they're rigged from square one, from the design, in their favor to control the outcome. That shouldn't be too hard to believe when you believe they're sending things to different planets millions and millions of miles away, but they can't fix a broken economy, broken system. Controlled demolition. especially knowing that there's an agenda to go from supposedly 7 or 8 billion down to 100 million or so. And regardless of beefs amongst families, one thing I bet they have in common is that they're all signed up for this agenda. Take a closer look at the logos. That's a DNA chain. That's a serpent. And that's what you could possibly even take as a spear, breaking the DNA chain. I'm sure you'll find this interesting with Samuel Mathers. When you look a little farther back, his father was William Mathers. His mother was Collins. I'm sure that's just by chance. In the music business, we're talking about the highest level of occultism through Eminem. And then, of course, the Collins is the highest level occult family, or one of. It's all a stage. They're all actors, magicians and sorcerers. Go back even farther on that name, when it's Mather, we go all the way back to the 1600s, and I'm sure there's more than that. None of these false idols people worship are here by chance. None of them. Spellcasting's real. Decoding's real too, though. Just like they reverse engineer our minds, trying to reverse engineer the spell.
Can't take me alive, alone in the darkness, a place where I thrive. And you call it home if you wanna survive. The lacking of souls and the feeling deprived. Remember my name, for them trying to kill me for knowing the game. And pointed to drugs so nobody to blame. My thoughts in the corner just feeling ashamed. Holding my legs, head in my knees, and I'm rocking for days. Dead all alone and I'm stuck in the haze. While they move my body, I'm trapped in a phase. I'm hearing the sounding familiar, I know where it plays. Down on my dresser, I'm taking the measure to get out of bed, man, been sleeping for days. Been stuck up in this nightmare too long. Been running out of time, where my life go wrong, and when does it end? Been dreaming about it, and I'm thinking, maybe way too long.
They trying to reset me, take me out the game. I'm just trying to get my feet wet, they're trying to slow me down. No key sweat, know that I'm fly till I die, no regret. Red eyes, so they assuming I'm high folk. Matter of fact, you right, take flight off one toe. And with it all settled, and the bomb drop, never stop. I'm still the dog, no kettle. 108 enough thoughts, higher level. Punching is the stuff I shovel. I stay humble. Deep thoughts, no time to mumble. Put you in the soil, that royal rumble. Tinfoil hat on my head, don't worship Saturn, but I hold the lead. Try to unwind you from the spell. If you break the matrix, you escape the hell. Well, he back to sleep again, so much for reaching him. The lust is creeping and can't master the program. Nobody beating him, see what's unseen so we can defeat evil men. Watching planes fly high on the balcony, chemical warfare in the air from the alchemy. To them in this CP, I'm like a bug. Vampires rule the world, Red Cross needs blood.